Welcome everyone to my new tutorial on how to render out a cropped video, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do what you just saw in the intro video where the background disappears and then reappears. And what you're doing is you're rendering two videos. You're rendering a standard instant NeRF rendering, and then you're going to render it again with crops that have been saved. And as you all know, those crops never want to save. So I'm going to show you how to modify your rendering script to do that. And in doing that, I'm going to basically be adding a bunch of lines of code to Python. I'm going to step you through it. It's going to be real easy. And in this YouTube video, just look down in the notes in the description, and I will say, in this line, add this, in this line, add that. And you should be able to follow along really easily. I don't suggest typing in any of this manually. I'm just going to do it for the tutorial. And then from there, you can just copy and paste where you're supposed to add things. So here we go. So the first thing you need to do is we're going to use the render.py file from ByCloud AI's fork. We're not going to use the render.py. And if you don't know how to get to this fork, it'll be in the notes at the top. I'll make sure I'll add, here's where to get that folder or that file. And you're going to go to the scripts, and you're just going to save that render.py out to the ngp file that you already have, or ngp folder you have already started. And again, if you're new to NeRFs, don't start here. Go watch my video on how to get started. And in fact, I use the same render.py Python script to render out the videos in that video. So now we have that in our folder. Let me just bring that up. I made a backup of the render.py just in case I mess it up. If you already have this on your machine, just copy it, make a backup, and then we're going to edit the render.py file. And I'm going to edit this file using Notepad++. It's really up to you what you want to use to edit. I like this software. You can even use Notepad. It's that simple. Just make sure you follow my instructions on how to do this. So the first thing you need to do is we're going to update how it renders the video. In this line is how ffmpeg puts together the video. That's not technically wrong. It just has a glitch. So if you ever use this render.py, you might notice that you're getting a little bit of a glitch when it's, or a little bit of a jitter. And so that's because this actually wasn't written correctly in his script. And he even admits he's not an expert. So we're going to add this -r brackets FPS. And then we're going to remove this VF FPS right here. And again, copy and paste this out of the instructions. So line 38, you're going to go copy, paste that in, put the new one in. And then I'm actually going to go and remove this name underbar test. We don't care about having underbar test on everything. You can put crop in there if you want, but there we go. So that line, you're going to copy from the instructions, make your life easy. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to go up to line 22. And from here, we need to add one tiny little modification. It's after name here. We're going to go space, bb, and comma. Super simple. The next part's a little bit more difficult. If we go down to line 27, we're going to add an extra space in here. And I'm just going to copy and paste it from what I've already done on another screen here, like so. Bam. And it's this if statement. Again, copy and paste this. Typing this in manually, you're going to make a mistake if you're not really into doing Python coding. So at that point now, we've updated ffmpeg. We added a variable, or we added a little line here, and we added these 3 extra lines. And now we're going to add one of these parser.add arguments from the, I'm going to copy, you're going to copy it from the notes on, again, this video. So I'm going to just drop it between these two bottom lines here. So it'll be now on line 53. Super simple. And again, I don't want you to have to like memorize all this. And then we're going to go down this very bottom line, and we're just going to replace it. So line 63 is going to get replaced. We're just going to replace it. And all we did is we actually added this bounding box in here. So up in this parser part, we added this -- bounding box. And if you were to run help on this Python script, it'll give you a little bit of help information and say what you're putting is an XYZ min and max. And then this is putting it all together. At this point, it's going to save it. Bam, you're done here. This has been modified. Yet you can still use this like you normally did. You can just add now an extra variable to save the crop. So I'm just going to exit out of there. Now we're just going to go to Anaconda. And then I'm going to start my Conda environment here for my NGP. So Conda activate NGP. And now I'm going to change directories to my NGP directory. like so, just using the CD. So at this point, you should have already known how to do this if you've already done lots of NeRFs. And now I'm basically going to recall a NeRF I've already made. You could train a brand new one, but for the sake of this one, I've already created that fountain scene, and I'm just gonna run it using Python scripts, the run command, mode NeRF, scene, data, fountain, and then I'm just gonna initiate the GUI. I'm actually gonna start training, and that way I don't have to like stop training and then load a snapshot. So here we go. It should just look like this, a gray screen, and you have a camera path and your other thing, and we're just gonna go down here to your snapshot and load, and then we got this beautiful looking fountain here in Salem, Oregon, down at the Capitol. And this is what I'm going to use, and this is why I use an example. So at this point, again, you should be already pretty familiar with this interface. And if you look in here, a little bit down here, there's this crop AABB. If you drop that down, you get all these little crop controls, and we're just going to crop this in quite a bit. I'm going to bring these values like just around, not quite to 0, but close. Because I'm going to crop it in tight. And these numbers might be different depending on the size of the object you're wanting to crop. So here we go. I don't want to crop the top of that off. So that looks good. And then this last guy, like that. So now I get this really tight crop. And as you all know, if I now render this, it's just gonna, that crop's not saved. Well, we'll be able to do that now. But what I need you to do is open up your snipping tool or get out pen and paper or something, and you're going to copy these first 6 crop values that the ones you just sliders you just moved, your min and max XYZs. And there you go. And I'm going to need this in a few minutes, and I'll show you why. So just go here. But before we get rid of this GUI, because we're not done, we actually need an animation path. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go to my camera path editor and add it from my cam, and I'm just kind of doing a basic kind of like circle. I'm not really going to use this for the final product. I already pre-rendered some videos to show you, but here you go. So now you kind of got this spiral down. If I can replay this thing, you can see, yeah, it wasn't most framed looking one, but here we go. And that's going to work. And then you just need to save this, and we're going to render this. So I'm just going to hit save. I've overwritten, I already had one saved, but I'm just going to save that base underscore cam.json. Simple as that. And if you've trained your NeRF on the first time, you got to make sure you save your snapshot if you hadn't already trained it. So just remember that too. So now you're done in the GUI. We've got this all done in the path you like. You could spend a lot more time on that, but we're not today. And now I'm going to show you how to render that using that script that we used. So again, I'm going back on my other screen. I keep looking here. I actually have the instructions because I've only done this so many times, but I'm going to copy and paste what I'm going to put in the notes on this YouTube video. So I don't want you all doing this again from scratch, but I'll show you what you need to modify once you copy and paste that out. So the first thing it's going to have is this Python scripts render.py. That all stays the same. And then it's going to be like, where's your model? So it's the scene. This was fountain for me. And then how much time? I only want this to be 5 seconds. And then 30 frames per second, 30. That's great. And then render name. I just had like model because that's what you probably called it. I'm just going to call it fountain. And then fountain underbar clip. Perfect. Width 1920 by 1080. Perfect. Now here's where we need those values I have here on the screen. Let me just make this a little bigger. And you got to make sure that there's this open quotation mark and then a space. And then we're going to start putting these values in. So 0.115. And then I'm going to keep that negative in there. I'm going to put 0.069. Okay. So then I'm at negative 0.069. I have that in there twice, like so. Okay. So then I'm going to go to my max X and Y. So I'm going to delete that and put 0.998. Then we're going to have 1.2, 1.200. And then the last one will be, again, it's a 0.963. And then we are done. I'm just going to hit enter. And if all is done correctly, it starts rendering. And we can double check that this is rendering correctly. All we have to do is go to your root folder of your instant ngp. There'll be a temporary folder in there. And look what we're getting. We're getting these great renders without the background. And that's what we want. If you actually have the latest version of instant ngp, they just updated it. This frame will go away. So that's kind of nice, but I have not updated it. And that was about 2 weeks ago. So here you go. It's going to just keep rendering. I'm going to let this run out, but I've already pre-rendered some videos as well. And I'm going to show you how to do that cool background. So I'm going to use Adobe Premiere. You can use whatever editing software that you are comfortable with. I actually use Resolve probably even more often, but they all work the same. So we're just going to load up Adobe Premiere, and I'm going to drag those clips into Premiere. So if you're new to this, you can skip this part and just use whatever project you know how to use. I'm just going to call this fountain clip. And then I actually have these 2 pre-rendered clips here. I'm just going to add to the project. And then from there, got to move me to the other side, hit create. Here we go. I got the 2 clips in here. If again, all these linear editors work pretty much the same, but you can see, okay, this clip has got the background. The clip below it's got no background. I'm just going to line these up one on top of each other, stack it. Super simple. And then I'm going to zoom in here so we can see a little bit better what we're doing, like so. And then basically I'm going to hit C on my keyboard to add 2 clips, like so. And you can finesse these, hit V again, and I can select this middle guy, take it out, and just kind of figure out, okay, so how far do I want to go before the background disappears? So I'm like, oh, that feels good. But notice it just drops off. So from here, I'm just going to go over in here, and I should have effects right here, video transitions, and you can use the same, they have the exact same transitions that they have in Resolve as in here for the most part. And I'm adding these band wipes. So now if I play it again, it's going to go and whoa, the background disappears. Looks really cool. Now you're rendering just the object and then it comes back in. So that's it. And if anyone's wondering why this part of the video, like the fountain gets all washed out like so, that's a weird effect. So be careful about that. The background, what actually was happening is in the real video, I got all the sun flare caught. And so that gets caught in the background. And if you don't have that context that you're dropping out, things might look funny. So again, from there, you're just going to export the video and there you go. So I hope you liked this tutorial. You can make your own videos like this really easily. If you do make one, please, please, please post on Twitter or LinkedIn and tag me and I'll be happy to repost it and see what you guys made. And any comments, especially on the YouTube video, if you're having problems, just let me know and I'll be happy to jump in and see if I can help solve those problems. But other people can see those questions and maybe they'll self-diagnose their own problem. So there you have it. I'm really excited to see what y'all make. If you do like these videos, please, please, please let me know so I'll make more. If I don't know you guys are actually using it, I might eventually just kind of give up on this, but I do enjoy making these and I want to make sure that they are videos people might actually use. So from there, looking forward to your feedback and see you guys in the next tutorial.